Have you ever wanted to try out playing a tabletop RPG but felt way too overwhelmed by all the choices out there? Maybe you've wanted to run a game for your friends, but you don't know which one to pick first. You want something not too intimidating, not too time-consuming, but still awesome and fun. In this episode, we will briefly cover my top 5 recommendations for great RPG picks for new players and GMs. Welcome to Claim to Game, the podcast helping busy people master tabletop role-playing games one game at a time. I'm Clint.scheirer. I've been an educator for over 12 years and have helped gamers of all levels quickly grasp tabletop RPGs so they can enjoy playing them to the fullest. Stay tuned so you can make your claim to game. Hello and welcome back to episode 19, season 1 of Claim to Game, a predominantly educational fun podcast in which I am daring to coin the word fungicational. It's like when a mongoose is bitten by a cobra and survives. I'm following a different format for this episode. One of my favorite social platforms of all time is Reddit. I find it to be the most helpful platform to get real, honest thoughts, feedback, advice, and opinions. This is especially true with the tabletop role-playing communities. There are many communities also known as subreddits for tabletop RPGs, and the easiest of them to remember is just the /RPG subreddit. A question came up recently in the RPG subreddit, which I feel is a very common question asked by those new to the hobby. It was, what are some good tabletop RPG system recommendations for a new GM? The individual who asked this question wanted advice with the caveat of nothing Dungeons & Dragons related or anything Call of Cthulhu related, since he was already playing as a player in these two systems and wanted to try out something different. They already had a great list of games compiled to consider, such as Blades in the Dark, the One Ring 2nd Edition, Dungeon Crawl Classics, Shadowrun, Heart, and Sabarum. Many folks who responded were offering systems that were fantastic in both design and theme. Some of these games are also on my own list to run and play one day soon. The ones not already mentioned were Dragonbane, Trail of Cthulhu, Delta Green, Morkborg, Mausritter, and Monster of the Week. I, however, wanted to offer a different perspective. When I was starting out trying my hand at being a GM, Game Master, I went the route of running Dungeon & Dragon one-shot games versus campaigns or longer reoccurring game sessions. I feel one-shot scenarios or games which allow you to complete the narrative, story, or quest within 3 to 4 hours provide a great opportunity to build up the skills of a good GM with a shorter time commitment. I wanted to learn things like improvisation, rule arbitration, general storytelling, playing NPCs, listening to my players, and providing interesting obstacles for their characters to interact with and also overcome within the made-up world. Eventually, after running so many sessions of D&D, I wanted to run anything but D&D. There are so many excellent RPGs out there that lend to the one-shot experience. What follows are my chosen faves and why I liked running them for me and my players. I'm only going to speak to the games that I personally run, the ones in which I have some street cred, as the kids say nowadays. And number 1 is Goblin Quest the RPG. Since season 1 of the Claim to Game podcast is all about Goblin Quest, I would be remiss not to mention it. It's funny, the core rules are only 60 pages in length, and there are 7 rules hacks provided in the back of the book for alternate settings with the same rule set with only slight variations. The second game is 10 Candles, and this game is perfect for Halloween or any time you want an immersive horror RPG experience. The core mechanics of the game involves using tea candles to mark the passage of time through the tragic scenes that you play as you march toward your character's ultimate demise. And you got to make sure you have a fire extinguisher on hand because you are literally playing with fire. And the book is only 80 pages long, and once you get going, you'll want to play immediately, not just at Halloween. The third game is Fiasco 2nd Edition. This version of Fiasco comes in a box and has cards to help build relationships between all the player characters at the table. Using the cards, you work together to establish a scene with what each character wants. What is their need? And from there, you try to tell the best story you can as everything goes wrong for the characters. The instruction booklet is only 23 pages, and the game pretty much runs itself with how well it is laid out. Game number 4 is Honey Heist, the RPG. This is from our very own game designer, Grant Howitt, maker of Goblin Quest. You play as bears, wearing hats, stealing honey, or something honey-related. It's a one-page RPG that is super fast, fun, and easy to play. My favorite gaming moment of Honey Heist was when my brother's bear floated off on a flying saucer into the heavens with news anchor Anderson Cooper, who, by the way, happened to be an alien. It was majestic. The fifth and final recommendation I give is Everyone is John. This game has sensitive themes of mental illness, so if that's traumatic to roleplay or feels unkind, totally fine to take a pass on this one. However, if you're interested, this is how it goes. All players will be a voice inside the mind of a man named John. Each voice or player rolls to take control of John's mind and actions in order to play out their obsession, which is predetermined before the beginning of the game. I actually made a hack of this game called Everyone is Jones, where each player was a voice inside of the mind of Indiana Jones. The voices they could play were all other characters who appeared in the Indiana Jones movies. If you are interested in this hack, shoot me an email. My email's in the show notes. I'd be more than happy to share my version and materials for free. The bottom line is there are many other one-page RPGs which lend themselves well for new players and new GMs to flex their RPG muscles and brains. I played more of Grant Howitt's one-pagers than anything else. The man is a machine, but I will restate the best way I've learned to jump into the GM pool is through one-shot games focused on shorter gaming sessions. There's definitely nothing wrong with choosing a game that lends to a longer campaign. This is just how my journey played out. Now, you might be thinking right now, hey, I have some really great one-shot oriented games or one-page RPGs that Clint didn't even mention in this episode that are way better than the ones he mentioned. Great. Why don't you share your secret sauce on our Discord server, Claim to Game, by clicking on the link in the show notes or going to claimtogamepodcast.com and joining there. Our community could use somebody like you with your expertise. Join us next time as we continue our quest, Claiming Goblin Quest. With 3 rules hacks down, we got 4 more to go. Our next one is different from all the rest. Prepare to seek the truth, go mad, and die quickly in the Cthulhu Files. And until the next time we make our claim to game, one game at a time.